Hello, friends. It's your boy Jeff here with you again, and we're back in the Spin Zone. And I've got 8 albums, actually 7 albums and an EP to show today. Hope everyone's doing well in the new year. Here we're in the middle of January already. Time is flying by as usual, so I'll cut the babble and we'll get right to the good stuff. First up, there's gonna be a lot of blues in this one. Starting with Albert Collins, his 1986 album Cold Snap. This is one that has been on my want list for a while. Trying to track down as many of his albums as I can possibly get, and this was one of them that I was missing. What's on here? I Ain't Drunk, I'm Just Drinking. That's a great blues drinking song. What else is here? Cash Talking. Good Fool is Hard to Find. Lights Are On But Nobody's Home. All great blues songs, all punctuated by the Iceman's ice cold guitar picking. So, great album to have. Albert Collins is a great guitarist. He put on a great show. Wish he was still around, but we'll always have the albums. So, this was a good one and a good way to start off this round of records with something cold. Then, the aforementioned EP. This is Cheap Trick. It's called Found New Parts. This was VCLT from Sean over at Sean's Vinyl Corner, who, by the way, I will try to remember to put his link down below. He's looking for a couple more subscribers so we can run a contest. I just watched his latest video, and I think he's less than 10 subs away from the number he wants to achieve to run a contest. So, if you haven't checked out Sean's Vinyl Corner, that's the name of his channel, please do so. He's only got like 125, I think, subscribers or something. So he's been around for a little while now, and he needs some love. So please, like I said, I'll put a link down below. Check out his channel, subscribe, and he wants to run a contest. So back to the records. This was a 4-song EP, which according to Emma mostly comes from the album that she sent me that I haven't played yet, called Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. But if this is any indication of that album, I'm gonna have to play it like really quick because I enjoyed this. I'm enjoying finding out a little bit more about Cheap Trick, aside from, hearing I Want You to Want Me on the radio ad nauseum. It's nice to hear them play good solid power pop / rock, and this was a great little listen. So I like it. I liked it. Thank you, Sean. Then we have ZZ Top here with Rio Grande Mud. This was VCLT from legendary, what was his name? I forgot his name. I have the note. I'm sorry. Legendary Jim, sorry. I've been on third shift for 2 weeks, and tonight's my last one, so I don't know if this is really the right time for me to be making a video, but it's the free time that I have available. So I could be a little more like than usual. Anyway, Rio Grande Mud by ZZ Top. This was their second album, I want to say. And Just Got Paid, I think, was the hit off of this. But really, whole album front to back is just classic blues rock like you would come to expect from ZZ Top. Just great stuff. This is the kind of music that I never get tired of. So this was a very nice sounding copy. It's on the London record label, and everybody knows about ZZ Top, right? I think most everyone knows about this album. It's great. If you don't have it, get it. I love it. I love ZZ Top. All right. Now, played this one. This was VCLT from Emma. Peter Green's In the Skies. And all I can say is, wow. For those few of you who may not know who Peter Green is, he's the one who, he was one of the founding members of Fleetwood Mac. And he left the band after a couple of years, and he basically disappeared, I think, for like 10 years or so, until he started putting music out again, which I think this was one of the first things he put out. This came out in 1979. And this is it's kind of blues rocky, but it's very chill and laid back. I mean, his guitar is not the hot, fiery blues guitar like you would hear like on his original version of Black Magic Woman or anything like that. If I had to compare it to anything, I would probably compare it like to the song Albatross. You know, the early Fleetwood Mac hit Albatross. It's an instrumental, and it's very like chill and laid back and moody. That's kind of the sound you get on this album, and I really, really enjoyed it. And of course, A Fool No More, which has been one of my top favorite songs here for the last several months, is on this album. But really, everything on here is classic. So, you know, Peter Green was a guitar god back in the day too. And he really flexes his muscles again on this album. So if you're a fan of early Fleetwood Mac, or just a fan of Peter Green in general, you have to get this. This was a great album. So thank you very much for sending this to me, Emma. This is a cherished part of my collection. Peter Green's In the Skies. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, then staying in that sort of chill groove, we have the Stills Young Band with Long May You Run. Played this for Core when she was in the mood to hear something, but, you know, wanted something a little more, you know, a little more laid back. It was kind of like the early afternoon, we just eaten lunch, and she's like, just put something on. Just put something nice on. She likes to say that. Put something nice on. So I said, okay. The only song I knew of was the title track, but the rest of the album follows pretty much along those same lines. If you've heard of the song Long May You Run. Stephen Stills and Neil Young take turns with the songs with lead vocals, and I enjoyed it. I thought, you know, it was a pleasant listen. It was very enjoyable. So it's a shame that these guys only released the one album. You know, I know the tour, this was the famous tour where after like the first or second show, Neil bailed on the tour and just said, see you later, and left Stills holding the bag and having to complete the tour solo, which is really a kind of a dick move, but that's Neil for you. He just does whatever he wants whenever the mood strikes, and he gets away with it. So what can you say? More power to him. But this was a good record. This came out in 1976, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I mean, if you're a fan of Crosby, Stills, and Nash Young, or Neil Young, or Stephen Stills, any of those, you know, this is worth having in your collection. So, pleasant listen. Then we get a classic Chicago blues album, Hoodoo Man Blues by Junior Wells. Got this for Christmas. This was on my Amazon wish list. And it's on the Delmark label. Of course, it's a reissue. Sounds amazing. Sounds perfect. And yeah, this is just a prime example of the Chicago blues sound. And many classics are on here. Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. What else did he do? You Don't Love Me, which was a reworked hit for the Allman Brothers on the Fillmore East album. Just great stuff. And of course, you see it says Buddy Guy plays on here as part of the band. And then later on in the 70s, the two of them would team up and release a series of albums, which I would love to find someday. It's always the list grows and grows and grows. So this was a pretty reasonable price on Amazon. I think it was only $20, somewhere in the low 20 range. So if you want a classic Chicago blues album for a good price for a brand new copy, get this. It's just amazing. Amazing. And another Christmas present of another amazing album is this one here. It's called In the Beginning by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. As you can see, this was a live performance. This was actually a radio broadcast that was pressed onto vinyl. I think this was released posthumously after Stevie had died. I think this came out like in the early 90s, but the original show, as you can see, took place April 1st, 1980. So even 3 years before his first album was released, I mean, everything was there that you know and love Stevie for. So, yeah. It's a shame that nobody signed him a lot sooner. But I have owned this. I still own it, in fact, on my iPod and MP3 format. Always wanted it on vinyl. And this is the music on vinyl issue. I usually like their work. Their pressings are excellent. And this sounded great. And like I say, I'm well familiar with this album. Here's the back cover. Love Struck Baby is on here. Geez, everything. They Call Me Guitar Hurricane, All Your Love, I Miss Your Lovin'. Just great stuff. Tell Me, Shake For Me, Live Another Day. I know this album backwards and forwards by heart. So, wanted to have a copy on vinyl. Very glad I got it. Thanks to my wife for getting it for me for Christmas. So, love it. And finally, just today, I played Portishead's third album. This is the double vinyl release on 45 RPM. And this was a birthday present from Brad from the VCLT package that he sent me last month. So I just posted on social media here about a half hour ago. I got a new subplatter for my turntable. The Project Classic, you know, the original one, came with a plastic subplatter, which I never liked. And a lot of their higher end turntables came with aluminum ones, which I always wanted. And finally, when they released an upgraded version of the Classic, it's called the Classic Evo now, I believe. Those tables come with aluminum subplatters. So I was able to special order it. I had to special order it through Music Direct. Took about a month for it to ship here, but it arrived today. So I put it in. I put pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and I took it for a spin with this album. And this, you know how much I love Portishead. This was the last album of theirs that I needed because they've only released like 3 other ones. So 2 studio and a live album. And this is their 3rd studio album, hence it's called Third. And the sound on here is basically the classic Portishead sound. You know, it's still very trip-hoppy. You know, you still have the haunting, melancholy vocals of Beth Gibbons. But it's not quite as electronic as their other albums were, which is kind of what they became known for. So here's the back once again. And of course, there's the note from Brad. Still liked it. This will probably have to grow on me, I think, more than their other albums. I'll probably have to live with this one a little bit longer. You know, on first spin, I enjoyed it. You know, there's some good tracks on here, but it didn't just blow me away like their other albums did. So, and this came out in 2008. So I don't even know if Portishead is a going concern anymore. I don't think it is, but still glad I have it. Still a worthy part of their catalog, and it's probably just gonna have to grow on me a little bit more. So there you go. All right, that's it. We just crossed the 15-minute mark. Trying to make the videos a little bit shorter here, so that's what I have for you right now. So everybody, take care. And now that I'm off third shift, I should be able to devote a little time to the 78 Cavalcade. Those will probably be what you see from me next, hopefully in the next couple of days, and they will be country. We will be going country in the 78 Cavalcade. So for any of you country fans out there that are watching, those videos will be for you, because they certainly won't be for me. But I'll keep an open mind. I haven't played any of those records yet, so we'll see exactly what we get. All right, gonna hit 16 minutes right now. Signing off. Peace, everyone. I love you all, and take care.